Okay, guys, it's your boy Dark Raikou here with What If Issei Made a Pirate Legacy, Part 2. Now, before I continue on, I should mention one thing. I am not that sick. I'm just a little bit, there's a little bit of stuff in my nose, but not much. My throat doesn't hurt that much. No, it doesn't. But I should mention one thing. I only slept for 4 hours yesterday. Well, yesterday night. Because I fucking hate. Well, my body just refuses to go to sleep half the time. But for some reason, 4 hours managed to kind of make me kind of get better. Logic of my body. Don't know how, but whatever. But of course, with that happening, I had to go to work today. But yeah, well, not really go to work. I haven't actually applied for a job just yet. Mostly work with my father on a house, mostly repairing. But yeah, not gonna mostly, yeah. But not the point. Let me begin this what. Let me shut the fuck up. And yeah, now I am also close to 400 subscribers. Like I did mention one time, I am going to, after I hit 400 and do my own special what if for what's it called, 400 subscribers. I'm going to stop uploading on this channel and actually going onto my first channel and actually grinding on there because, well, yeah, it's my first channel, my main channel. So yeah. So let me begin this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. No recaps because it has only been 3 weeks. I think so. Probably went 4 weeks and I haven't actually checked. But not the point. Wait. But yeah. So let me begin this as what if. Let me shut the fuck up. But I should also mention that I am going to do what if Issei was, well, yeah. Wait. What am I thinking about? I am going to try to do what if Issei was the Joker Part 3. And also what if Issei had Anti-Magic Part 4. So yeah, those are the two what ifs that I'm right now hearing. Mostly Joker, I already heard about it. Well, mostly reheard it. And part 3 of, the Anti-Magic Demon one. I am right now kind of watching, and I'm almost close to kind of finish rewatching it. So I can actually go to part 4, but yeah. But let me begin this as what if. Let me shut the fuck up. And yeah. Now, we go into mostly a couple of months later. Mostly after the whole, well, kind of destruction of a human appearing and being, well, a pirate. Well, now known as a pirate, that being Bullet. Now, Bullet was someone so powerful that he seems to be able to take on the mainland's army, mostly Japan's army, and also, well, supernatural beings. Now, supernatural beings are actually mentioned to that of, well, Japan. And Japan actually decides to keep us a secret. Japanese people are fine with the supernatural beings. It's just, they better not, like, fuck up their own lives. But yeah. Which the supernatural beings decide to be okay with it. But yeah. Now, of course, well, the mainland actually heard about the pirates and, of course, how powerful they will really be. Now, of course, well, the humans can see that the pirates, they're evil. There's also Marines, they're not that evil, which they're still evil, but they don't understand much. Now, of course, they got saved by a pirate named Silver D. Issei, which a lot of supernatural beings heard of that, like a bunch of them, even that of a white dragon empress, but yeah. But of course, a bunch of people was hearing about Silver D. Well, Issei, who has a bounty over, well, what's it called? 5 billion? Yeah. I think I said 5 billion. Was it 4 billion? I don't remember. Or I'm just going to say it's 3 billion. 3 billion, 300 million, 45,000 million. Wait, no, yeah. 45,000 million. Mostly, yeah. 300 million, 45 million, 2 million, 100,000, 45. Yeah, you get the point. And 1, well, mostly 2. That's the last, like, digits, very last digits. But yeah, this is where, well, a lot of people were kind of shocked to believe that Issei is literally Yonko level. But yeah, or mostly the first digit is not 3, it's actually 4. Yeah, I'm just gonna say 4. But pretty much, he's a Yonko level kind of captain. which a lot of people are just shocked. Also, there's some people who actually heard of the whole double reincarnation, but what the fuck? How is he even Yonko level and human? But whatever. Of course, well, after that happening, Rias was happy, but also saddened because well, Issei is basically someone who's a pirate now, and of course doesn't actually have a goal to become the Harem King, and doesn't really care about that shit. Instead, he mentioned that he wants to become the Pirate King and will not lose towards someone, Big Brother, someone, which no one understands. But of course, they're just thinking that he's mentioning someone else who's Yonko level. Now, of course, they don't actually have a good understanding on the Yonko, well, the different Yonkos. But yeah, they're just thinking that there might be multiple Yonkos in what's it called, the Grand Line. Which there's only 4, well, 5, but don't worry about that. Also, there's a whole ranking of supernovas, but don't worry about that neither. Because Issei is actually considered to be a different thing from the supernovas, but kind of entirely different. But of course, well, not the point. Let me begin into this what if, but yeah. Now, after a couple months, we go into Kyo. Now, Kyo is actually getting attacked by 5 different people. Now, of course, we go into the battle. This is where, well, Kyo is right now being attacked by, well, someone that's using sun abilities and another person that's using moon crust to right now launch attacks at, well, the yokais, the supernatural demons, well, not supernatural demons, what am I talking about? Demons, angels, fallen angels, and any type of supernatural being entirely. Now, of course, there's one thing that's actually kind of different from them. They're not attacking the humans. They're only attacking the supernatural beings themselves. Even sacred gear users, but yeah. Or some that looks like sacred gear users, but yeah. Which one is using sun, what's it called, like sun balls to start launching them. And of course, they're not that big, but of course, they do a lot of damage when they explode. Now, these moon crests and even full moon attacks actually do a lot of damage by cutting and destroying anything. Or also crushing stuff, but yeah. But of course, well, the 2 of them are right now attacking. Now, they look like twins, but they look completely different. They do have the same kind of face structure, but they look completely different. One is a little bit bigger than the other. Now, of course, one has short orange hair, and of course, these like orange eyes right now. Right now, kind of being a little bit muscular also, but being a little bit smaller than a normal human. Now, the reason why, I will mention that later. Which when the other end also looks a little bit more smaller than, well, the guy with orange hair and can use like sun abilities. This guy has, well, mostly this, yeah, person has kind of darkish, longish gray hair. Well, not that long, but of course he has what's it called, kind of these grayish eyes with what's it called palish skin, with the other person having like tan skin. But of course he has palish skin but has the same kind of face structure as like the other person. But he's right now kind of having clothing of what's it called, like this grayish kind of jacket. Kind of being similar to that of like a, well, let me show you. Kind of similar to that, like a Noba or something. Which the other person kind of has like an outfit that looks like a pirate. But yeah. But of course, well, we go into 2 other people right now also causing destruction. A person that's right now kind of using what's it called, like this ability of what's it called? Kind of using what's it called, like this ability of stars, which, well, yeah, mostly not stars. No. He's using what's it called, like this metallic magic, or not really metallic magic because it's not really metallic at all. But when he kind of like touches the ground, metal starts kind of like spreading out from the ground, like different types of metal, copper, iron, even silver, or even like what's it called, steel. Silver actually costs him a lot of energy, so of course he avoids using like rare types of materials like gold or any of that, even platform, or yeah, platform or even tusk or whatever. So yeah, but of course his eyes are kind of metallic color, like there are a bunch of different colors of metallic. This is where his hair is actually, well, it's not, well, how should I say, it's kind of mixed with a bunch of different colors of like metals, but yeah. This is where, well, you can also summon like blue metallic stuff or red, or you get the point. But of course, well, mostly of those medals are kind of weak, but yeah. But not the point. This is where, well, he's right now having clothing that of, well, mostly looks like that of like a steampunk kind of outfit, but yeah. And he also does look like the similar height as the other two people, but yeah. This is where, well, next to him is mostly his, looks to be like older brother a little bit, but they seem to be also probably twins, but they kind of do look different. They're not even twins or brothers mostly, but yeah. Of course, the guy with metallic abilities kind of does have a little bit like a tannish, well, kind of pale skin, but yeah. Now, of course, where the other person that's next to him has kind of short black hair, kind of smooth and straight a little bit. Of course, he has kind of these purplish eyes glowing. And of course, this is where the sacred, whatever the hell it's called, the white stuff, well, not white stuff, mostly the white around your eye, is kind of turning black. But yeah, for this person, well, one of his eyes, but this is where, well, he also kind of has one of his hands turning black, but also having this purplish aura. This is where, well, he does have a black kind of like outfit, similar to that of, well, mostly just modern clothing, but yeah. Mostly having like sweatpants, a jacket, and of course having black shoes. This is where, well, he's also kind of summoning out something from the ground, but it looks to be like darkness soldiers. Or mostly whatever it is, mostly shadow soldiers. This is where he is screaming out the command call rise, but yeah. But of course, it's not magic what he's using. He also looks kind of also fatigued when he's kind of rising these soldiers. He's right now rising only 5 at one time, but yeah. And they don't even seem to be that powerful, but it seems to be, well, powerful at the same time for some of the supernatural beings. Now, of course, where, well, he also seems to be kind of the similar height as the other person behind him, that being the other metallic person. But of course, where, well, the last person is mostly this person, what's it called, with. So this person kind of has this brownish hair. Of course, where, well, he kind of has, well, seems to have glasses on. Well, in the beginning he had glasses, but right now he has one of his hair, mostly his brown hair, have a little, like a little hairline kind of appearing down his face. He has a smooth, pale face. And of course, where, well, it's not that pale, but it's kind of like very snowy white a little bit. This is where, well, he has brownish chocolate eyes, which he kind of sends out like some command attack. And of course, where, well, or not a command, no, wait. No, it's mostly this person with black spiky hair. Of course, kind of having a little bit of burn and even like bandages around his body. This is where, well, he seems to be also the same height as like the other kind of 4. This is where, well, he has bluish, tealish eyes. And of course, where, well, he's sending from his hand 2 gulf of like these huge flames, of blue flames. And right now launching it straight to some supernatural beings. This is where, well, it seems that these 5 people seem to be quite angry at the supernatural. Now, there's really not a reason. Well, mostly one of them screamed out saying, we're doing this just because we're doing this because you tried to make our father your damn slaves. We're going to kill you, damn bastards. Which, when the supernatural is hearing about this, they're just confused. But yeah, the yokais are usually confused. The demons, they know that they are kind of shady as hell half the time. Fallen angels, just like, the fuck, we don't make anything our slaves. So angels are also confused, but yeah. This is where, well, the yokai leader, mostly being Yakuza, is there, kind of seeing this. And of course, where, well, she doesn't know what to do with these 5 children. Yes, these 5, well, mostly these 5 are actually just children. They seem to be mostly the similar age as mostly her own daughter. Now, of course, this is where the fallen angel leaders there, even what's it called, Sir Zex, and what's it called, Serapha, and then there's Michael. Now, Michael doesn't know about why these children are angry, but he does know that they're actually just children. They're being only human children. They're not even close to being a supernatural being, but they seem to be close to that being the high-ranking demon level. But yeah. Now, of course, they were, well, Sir Zex says, what should we do with that? Does it work? Well, also there's Oda there with what's it called, mostly next to him, of course, would be, what's it called, what's her name again? will be Rosa White kind of being there next to him. Now, of course, she did became back up Valerie and didn't actually stayed with what's it called, Rias or her group. But yeah, now of course it worked well. Rosa White is kind of looking at this. Of course, with just emotional eyes. Even though she kind of likes kids, she never did have a kid by herself or whatever. Now, of course, it worked well. They're kind of just seeing this, and of course, it worked well. Sir Sex says, well, I don't really know what to do with him, so there's only one thing to do. And what's that? Azo said with such a annoyed tone a little bit. Well, probably killed him. What? This is where Azo, even Michael, and even Yakuza looks at him with just widened eyes. Even Oda was like, what the hell are you talking about? This is where, well, Sir Sex says, what? They're causing too much destruction. And we can't really have human children literally be causing destruction. Unless you want to, stop them somehow. This is where, well, Surfa also widened her eyes just looking at what's it called, Sir Zex. This is where, well, she says, are you really just gonna kill them like that? This is where, well, Surfa kind of screams at him. This is where Sir Zex says, yes, because they hurt my sister. This is where, well, Surfa said, well, still, they're just children. This is where, well, she's kind of screamed at him, saying that they seem to be like the age of, well, what's it called? They seem to be the age 14, and you're just gonna kill them like that? Sir Zex, are you fucking insane? Serapha screams at mostly Sir Zex, and Sir Zex just scoffs and says, whatever, you can try to stop me, I don't care. This is where, well, Sir Zex's hand right now ignited with this reddish color, which we'll see what's it called. Someone stops his legs with ice. That's where, well, Sir Zex says, what are you doing, Grace V? Grace V says, I don't think it's a good idea to do that. Maybe let another child try to stop them and calm down. This is where, well, Grace V kind of her eyes. Because, well, mostly they're there, but not just alone. They're mostly there with their son, being that of, his name is, what was his name? This is where Grace V kind of makes an offer, making Milikis kind of go see to talk to them. Because Milikis is actually the age of 14. He has reddish hair and bluish eyes, similar to that of, well, mostly Sir Zex. This is where Sir Zex kind of narrows his eyes and says, so you want our child to try to talk to them? How can we be positive that he won't be getting hurt? This is where, well, he kind of questions. This is where, well, Grace B says, it's better like this. What happened if other humans hear about how you just kill 5 children? Do you not see that this might be a possible danger that maybe other humans might start rebelling against us? We only just did an alliance about a couple of months. They still don't trust us that much. Sir Zex kind of scoffs, looks at his son kind of being there, and his son is right now behind his like mother's kind of protection, just seeing how her, well, mostly not her, mostly his father is kind of acting, but yeah. Sir Zex looks at him, looks at Grace B, and then looks at the others. He kind of sighs, but before kind of sighing, he didn't let go of the red, well, mostly destruction magic. Grace B says, calm down, Sir Zex. You gotta stop this. Fine, I'll stop this. This is where, well, he didn't actually stop this. He just tossed the, what's it called, destruction magic straight towards one of their children. Mostly 2 of them being, what's it called, the sun, and also, what's it called, the moon. They were kind of like stopping for a second, just to catch their breath. And of course, and how, well, angry they are against supernatural beings. This is where, well, they see the red destruction magic, and they realize they can't dodge it entirely, because it's actually coming way too fast for them to actually react. This is where they wind their eyes and realize they were actually going to die. This is where, well, the other supernatural beings wind their eyes. Right now, seeing how Sir Zex just literally tossed what's it called, his destruction magic strike towards the children. This is where, well, Azure says, you idiots! This is where, well, Michael was actually about to try to use a magic spell to try to block the destruction magic from actually hitting the children. But before even the children getting hit by it, it gets cut down in an instant. This is where, well, when it gets like sliced down, it just destroys anything that was like in its direction. just obliterating, sending rubble up, and right now kind of like destroying it also. But of course, the destruction magic was destroyed. But of course, both the children were kind of holding onto something tightly, like mostly themselves, but mostly holding tight onto someone else, because they were extremely scared. This is where, well, one actually became the same size as the other person, stopped using their son kind of abilities. This is where, well, they're kind of just scared and crying a little bit, thinking that they were going to die. But of course, where, well, they get their head kind of patted on and says, there, my children. Nothing will happen, okay? This is where, well, they look up and say, Father, you're here. This is where, well, what they see is mostly a white-haired man. Mostly his hair is kind of white. He has a kind of black coat and, of course, a black hat. Now, of course, his coat and his hat kind of has a symbol of two white lightning bolts happening. A skull on the middle of the two lightning bolts. And, of course, well, he's wearing a black kind of button-up shirt. Or not black button-up shirt. A white button-up shirt that kind of shows his chest a little bit. This is where, well, he also has kind of these black kind of pants. Well, not black pants, mostly kind of black shorts. This is where, well, he's wearing sandals. Of course, with no socks. He's not a menace. Just kidding. But this is where, well, he also has a sword next to him. And also multiple guns around his belt buckle. But yeah, this is where, well, he kind of looks at his children and says, are you guys okay? This is where, well, they cry and say, Father, we just wanted to get revenge for them, for you, and how they made you their slave. This is where, well, this person chuckles and just looks at them and says, but you guys are still too young. You still don't know revenge that much. And I don't really care about revenge. Maybe if something ever did happen to you, might have actually went against him revenge. He said in a frightening tone. But I don't really care about revenge, about slavery, any of that shit. I do, maybe in the near future when you guys are older. Maybe I ask you to actually help me. But not now, okay? You should probably be getting towards your mother, okay? This is where, well, they look at him right now with teary eyes. And this is where, well, this person also appears mostly behind, well, 3 other kids. And of course, literally using this lightning portal that actually appears behind them. Kind of grabbing them. And of course, grabbing them from the collar like in an instant. This is where, well, they widened their eyes until they were pulled towards out of the portal. Mostly out of the white portal that actually appeared next to mostly the sun and also moon user. This is where, well, they were kind of just getting choked a little bit. This is where when they kind of stopped kind of doing their antics, they kind of looked towards who pulled them. And this is where, well, they widened their eyes because they were let go. And this is where they actually hugged the person saying, Father, you're here. This is where, well, they're crying and of course just happy to believe that Father is here. And of course, this is where, well, they show him mostly their gift for Father's Day. But yeah, Issei, this person just chuckles. Of course, yes, it's none other than Issei, but of course, this is where he chuckles at them. This is where, well, Issei said, you do realize you guys gotta go with your mother, okay? This is where, well, they kind of nodded, but before going, they kind of gets hit in the head, karate chop motion, and this is where, well, Issei said, now remember, this is only for your safety, okay? Next time, you guys will, how the fuck should I say, get here to the mainland, and by asking, I don't know, somehow asking Matsui and Morohama to get you here, I'm going to literally hit you again, okay? This is where they cry and they say, sorry, Father. This is where they all kind of apologize in an instant. This is where, well, Issei just chuckles and says, well, your mother's going to get here. This is where, well, behind them actually appears a purplish portal. Mostly not a purplish portal, well, yeah, purplish portal. And of course, someone appears, mostly having these purple eyes. A mask on, well, yeah, he has a mask on, but with purple glowing eyes. And of course, where, well, he has a black kind of outfit, mostly kind of being like that of a magician or something, but he's not a magician. But of course, well, he appears right now bowing down, or kind of just having one foot down, mostly like kneeling down, while one foot up and saying, my lord, you're here. Should we get back towards the... This is where, well, before, well, he continues on, he kind of said, you people will have to go back to the mainlands. I will be here. Well, not mainlands, back to the pirate crew. Now, I will just take care of business, okay? This is where, well, someone appears, well, next to the person, mostly that was kind of sitting there. But of course, it was this person with kind of blondish, well, mostly palish, blondish, pink, rose kind of hair. This is where, well, she had these palish blue eyes, and of course, she was kind of wearing this kind of like pirate outfit. Of course, well, mostly like a female pirate outfit, but yeah. Mostly this is what they kind of look like, but yeah, kind of having a blackish outfit, and yeah. Of course, she does have dolish blue eyes, and of course, like the hair, two ponytails, and right now wrapped with one white and black. But of course, the word, well, she looks at the five children, of course, smacking them in the head, but then hugging them and saying, I was so worried about you all. God damn it, don't make me too worried. I'm also going to kill Morihama Matsui, or mostly Hama Matsui. Mostly, she looks at the portal user and says, I'm also going to kill you if you ever do something like this again. This is where, well, he pales, and of course, where, well, he then looks at his mostly captain, and he also pales with such a murderous look, mostly attended by mostly the Queen of Pirates, and also, or mostly not the Queen of Pirates in general, she's actually the Queen of Despair of Pirates. This is where, well, looking at his captain, whose name was it called the Silver Lightning, was it called user, where mostly the white, well, mostly not white lightning, he was called Shiro Lightning of destruction. But yeah, now of course he's Pelly. Now of course he understands that he has to bring the children and of course his wife mostly back to the pirate crew. But yeah, but of course well, Junko kind of, mostly the females kind of named Junko, this is where she can say, wait, where's Shinkai at? This is where she counts at all her children, that being 5. Now of course they're adopted, they're not actually their biological children, but yeah, this is where, well, Issei kind of just smacked the sensei. He then looks at his children and says, where is Shinkai at? This is where they kind of pales and realize that they don't know where their kind of smaller little brother's at. Now, of course, mostly Shinkai would be the youngest, but yeah. Now, of course, this is where, well, Issei kind of like called them out by their first name, mostly all of the children. Now, the sun user is kind of named Escanor. The mostly moon user is named, what's it called? So, the first one is called Escanor. The second one is called Lunar. Mostly the sun user is called Escanor. The moon user is kind of called Lunar. Thanks to the fact that, well, he didn't really have an original name. Mostly his devil fruit was unknown, so of course they call him Lunar. Then there's what's it called? The third child, that being, what's it called? That being Nozel. And of course, well, the fourth child is, what's it called? His name is Song. And of course, the fifth child is named Dobby. Now, of course, all of them gulps in an instant after hearing their father's tone. Even though they're not fully related towards him, they're just kind of gulping because they know how quite angry their father can be. This is where, well, they kind of realize that they kind of lost Shinkai. And this is where, well, they kind of say, this is where, well, Junko grins at them and says, just get in the portal, okay? Before I decide to hurt you all. This is where, well, I understand and just decide to jump in the portal. But before going, this is where, well, she kind of grabs something like a paper, a letter. And of course, where, well, mostly she decides to give it towards Dobby and says, give this to Estef, okay? This is where, well, Dobby understands, and of course, where, well, he's kind of scared. But of course, he will have to listen to his mother, but yeah. This is where, well, a female named Estef, who actually they're kind of also fear, but yeah. This is where, well, Junko kind of goes up towards the Issei, and of course puts her, mostly one of her fingers onto his lips, and saying, will you go find Shinkai for me? This is where, well, Issei said, yeah, I will have to do that. Probably I have to take out this whole army of destruction or whatever. This is where, well, mostly just like, well, mostly we go back to the supernatural beings, and this is where when they see Issei, or mostly this pirate appear, older man appear right now, easily destroying the destruction magic, made a bunch of people literally just like shock, because he also feels human, but much more powerful than the 5 children. Now, of course, the 5 children seem to be hugging him like if he was mostly their father or uncle, which I can't tell, but yeah. Of course, they saw a portal, then they saw the blondish hair female, which really caught a bunch of people because she was beautiful for being a human. But of course, she did have power. This is where, well, the other person seems to be having like this dark, what's called malicious energy. But of course, he seems to be only able to summon portals. But yeah. But of course, where, well, people are just confused. Now, of course, where, well, Issei started kind of walking towards the supernatural beings, which they all get on guard because they don't know if they're going to literally get attacked. Which they're all getting on guard, like yokais, demons, fallen angels, and even what's called the kind of Norse mythology gods, like some of the, what's it called, Valkyries, some of gods, like, what's it called, what the fuck can I not remember, Thor or some of other gods, but yeah, this is where, well, Issei is looking at all of them, and this is where, well, his silverish white eyes is actually piercing towards all of their souls in an instant, but this is where, well, he then says nothing, but then just closes his eyes, and then reopen them. A wave of power literally knocks out all these beings. Even Thor was about to, like, bow down because this power pressure. This power of pressure literally just washes over everyone. And I mean everyone in a couple of mile radius, but doesn't affect humans that much. Mostly, almost every person literally bowed down. Someone was literally flying, and of course, they almost fell down to the ground in an instant, luckily to managing to catch himself. But this person kind of had these bluish wings and whitish armor. This is where, well, she was just trying to get out of the armor, trying to breathe, but yeah. But luckily, mostly it was thanks to the white dragon for the help for not fully passing out. But this is where, well, all the other people literally fell down. But yeah, passing out. This is where, well, Sir Zex, Azo, and almost any of the other leaders kind of literally almost bowed down also. This is where, well, someone didn't bow down. It was none other than a beefy kind of person with kind of these purplish eyes and brownish hair. Of course, he smiles and saw how this person literally almost took out, what's it called, this entire army. This is where he then asked for his own sacred gear, well, mostly like a companion, not really his sacred gear, but mostly a companion, like a golden lion, to help him out. This is where he goes into this armor and rushes at this person. This is where, well, he right now sends a punch straight towards this person. But this person, literally his hand kind of shifts and becomes a different color, like this white, but then becomes invisible, and literally just catches with a call this person's punch. This is where, well, the person widened his eyes until he felt his body literally become numb and fall down. Yes, what really happened, we go into Issei's POV. Pretty much, Issei kind of puts white armament Hawk into his hand, but it's invisible for any normal person that doesn't know about hawking. But of course, well, he takes the punch, well, mostly, yeah, takes the punch of, well, Sir Orcus, because he knows about Sir Orcus. And of course, where he then shoots like a bolt of like white lightning into Sir Orcus' body, which made him just black out, but yeah. Which, with that happening, everyone kind of widened their eyes in a fucking instant. This is where, well, Sir Zex didn't know who exactly this person is, but this person seems to have such a powerful pressure. Now, of course, where, well, two people came out of a kind of like tunnel, or mostly out of a building that had a secret tunnel. And of course, where, well, this person has kind of blondish hair, like goldenish blonde hair. And of course, he's, what's it called? Goldenish eyes, slick eyes, but yeah. This person kind of has, yeah, goldenish slick eyes. And of course, she has golden ears and of course 6 golden tails. This is where, well, she's kind of wearing a kind of red and white kind of kimono. Kind of that, similar to like a temple or whatever, you know how Akano wears, but yeah. But of course, it isn't showing off anything because she seems to be a child. And next to her is mostly like a boy with bluish hair, darkish bluish eyes, and of course kind of have this, well, kind of snowy-ish, whitish skin. But yeah, this is where, well, his face seems to be really cute, but yeah. And this is where, well, he then looks at mostly the girl in front of, well, mostly him, and says, Kuniko, is something wrong with Kuniko-chan? This is where Kuniko says, huh? Oh, no. I thought this would be the right place to go, but there seems to be so much destruction. This is where, well, the boy kind of looks around until he felt kind of someone's familiar energy appear almost over them. This is where, well, This person then kind of widened their eyes when, well, he noticed a person. A person right now standing in front of, well, a group of people. And of course, mostly having kind of a blackish coat kind of flying into the wind. And of course, this person seems ready to kind of grab a sword and strike the person with reddish hair. This is where, well, every other person next to the reddish hair man seems to get ready to fight this person. This is where, well, the person behind their eyes, mostly the child with darkish blue hair. And of course, this is where he grabs Kunoko's hand, or mostly, grabs Kuno's hand and of course, kind of just pull her. This is where, well, she widened her eyes and said, Shinkai, what is happening? Well, mostly she says, Shinkai-kun. This is where, well, Shinkai is running, and of course, where, well, he kind of rushes towards the older looking man, and of course, where, well, the boy kind of screams, Father! This is where, well, he's actually happy to see his father, and this is where, when, well, we go to Issei's POV. Issei was about to strike towards fighting the kind of, well, mostly leaders of their own faction. And of course, where, well, Issei was about to pull his sword until he heard his, like, mostly title father kind of being called out. This is where he turns towards the side, mostly the left, well, not left, right side, and kind of sees mostly, well, a dark-haired, blue-haired kid with what's it called, these dark blue eyes, and of course, right now pulling along mostly this blondish and goldenish hair girl with kind of having 6 tails. Yes, her name is Kuno. This is where, well, mostly one of the leaders being Yonko kind of noticed was it called her daughter, and of course her daughter's being pulled along. She's kind of running along with mostly the dark blue hair boy, but of course where the dark blue hair boy managed to get to his father and hug him. This is where, well, he was kind of crying and of course telling his father that he didn't know where his other brothers went, but of course met this nice, well, girl kind of pointing at Kuno, and of course where, well, helping and trying to figure out how to get back here and didn't know where exactly they would be at. He basically kind of tells his adventure and how he kind of really got lost. He doesn't want to become like Zoro, Uncle Zoro, and kind of accidentally get lost, but he just apologized to his father and other stuff. This is where, well, Issei kind of chuckles and says, There, Shinkai, you don't need to worry about that much. Your brothers are going to be punished for being idiots most of the time. But you won't be punished because it seems that you were already punished enough when getting lost. This is where, well, Shinkai cries and of course hugs his father. This is where, well, mostly someone appears behind, mostly both Issei and Shinkai. And this is where when Shinkai looks up and then sees, well, his mother, this is where he kind of runs up from the rubble, or gets up from the rubble, and kind of gets towards his mother and says, Mother, Mother, Mother. This is where, well, Junko says, Come here, Shinkai. This is where Shinkai jumps, and this is where, well, she kind of just carry him. This is where, well, she says, There. Nothing will happen. This is where, well, Junko is just smiling at him, and this is where, well, she knows the fox girl and says, She's so cute. This is where, well, Junko kind of has this, like, wanting always a kind of blondish hair girl, and this is where Issei says, aren't you already satisfied with what's it called, one of the girls? You realize there's like 10 children and of course, well, 4 girls. Yes, there's actually 4 girls when they adopt children. Because there's 6 boys and of course 4 girls, but yeah. Now of course, well, Junko says, Oh, Toga? Well, she is kind of like me and I love how she is kind of like me a little bit. Kind of a little bit, well, adorable and other stuff. This is where Issei said, and also kind of psychotic. He just said that in his head, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Drake kind of snores because he heard that shit. He would kind of say out in the gauntlet, but of course he didn't say anything else. This is where, well, mostly, what's it called, Junko kind of looks at mostly her husband and says, also, if you're thinking psychotic, then that's also a bonus part. But, yeah, I do like her a lot. But, what's it called? I do like this girl right here. This is where, well, Junko kind of gets to Kuno, and this is where Kuno was actually scared of the older woman. This is where, well, Yukasa was actually about to move to see if what's called Kuno was actually going to get attacked. But this is where Shinkai jumps off of, well, mostly not her, his mother's arms. And of course, where, well, he then hugs Kuno and says, there's nothing to be afraid. This is my mother. Her name is Junko. This is where, well, Kuno says, hello there, Junko-san. This is where, well, Junko says, oh, so adorable. I just really want to have you. Can you please be my daughter? This is where, well, Issei sweat drops and says, Junko, I don't think that's a good idea. She's already having a mother. Mr. Junko says, fine. This is where, well, she then says, come along, Shinkai. This is where Shinkai says, right. Wait, are we going back? This is where, well, Junko says, of course we're going back. This is where Shinkai then says, okay. This is where he kind of rushes towards Kuno and hugs her again and says, thank you a lot for everything. This is where he smiles with such a big smile, which kind of made Kuno kind of blush a little bit, even though she doesn't know much emotions. But of course, they're the age of 14. Kuno's age 14, while Shinkai's also age 14. This is where, well, Junko's like right now having the hearts in her eyes and says, they're so cute. This is where, well, Issei switch offs and knows what she's going to want also later, which, yeah, that might happen later. This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of chuckles also to see Shinkai a little bit kind of doing stuff like that. But of course, the word Shinkai says, bye, father. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah, see ya. That's where, well, Shinkai grabs, well, Junko's hand, and of course, they kind of walk to a portal. That's kind of being held up by the guy's willpower not to die. But yeah, he's not closing this fucking gate anytime soon. He doesn't care. He felt the power of this conqueror talking from his captain, and he would have passed the fuck out. But he had the fucking idea not to pass the fuck out, because if he did, then his captain or even the queen might even kill him. But yeah. This is where, well, Issei looks at all of them. Sir Zek says, who exactly are you? Elzo says, Issei. So, this is where, well, Elzo says, so Issei, how's it been for about 4 months later? This is where, well, Issei says, pretty good. Sorry about how my children actually almost destroy, well, just a couple of factions. Meh. I wasn't expecting my children to do that much damage. This is where, well, Azul says, I see, so those are your children. They're quite powerful, Azul said casually. Issei said, yeah. I wasn't actually expecting, well, a Mao to literally try to kill them. He points at Sir Sex with such disdain. This is where Sir Sex widened his eyes after hearing Issei's name. This is Issei, one of the Yonkos of, what's it called, the pirates. This is where the other faction leaders kind of widened their eyes. Now, of course, several folk kind of already noticed this was Issei after a while, but yeah. This is where, well, as it says, well, other than that, are you going to stay here for a little bit more, or are you just going to leave? Issei says, leave. No shit, what do you think? I gotta go back to my crew and make sure that, well, they are not trying to kill each other. This is where, well, as it says, I see. Well, if you ever want to, we can always kind of like talk, sit down, and never happening. Come on, please, Issei. Can I at least be in your heart, even a little bit? No, the fuck? No. The only people that aren't in my heart is mostly my crew, my family, that being my 10 children, and of course my 4 lovely wives. This is where, well, as it says, damn it. I thought you weren't going to make a harem, but you at least kind of had 4 beautiful wives. And I saw one. Not gonna lie, she be catching every. That's where Issei says, unless you want to die, I suggest you shut the hell up. This is where Elsa says, okay, calm down, kid. We don't need to go with violence. Issei says, damn, every morning I choose violence, so I don't know what you're talking about half the time. This is where Elsa says, okay, damn, kid, but fine, whatever. This is where, well, we go into mostly them kind of talking. Sir Sex kind of gets up and was about to go towards Issei to actually talk to him about the whole marriage with him and his sister until he heard screaming. This is where, well, we'll see someone, they all turn and see Rias. Now, Rias said, Issei? This is where, well, she widened her eyes. Now, of course, she did get a detailed description from, well, mostly Sona. Now, of course, Sona's also next to her, but yeah. Now, of course, there's someone literally flying and not trying to pass out again, but she doesn't have what's it called, a dragon armor. But she's seeing Issei, and not gonna lie, she actually kind of likes Issei, thanks to the fact of his white hair. This is where, well, he doesn't really have his hat right now on, which, yeah, he kind of did give it to her Shinkai, just to kind of make sure that, to kind of go along with his mother. But yeah, this is where, well, he just said, still, not this bitch again. This is where Issei kind of whispered that under his breath, which Sir Zex managed to catch on, and Azo also, which Azo kind of chuckles a little bit, but yeah. This is where, well, he tried not to chuckle, but yeah. This is where, well, Rias kind of rushes towards Issei, which Issei didn't really want to even be anywhere near her. So of course he just jumps away from the factions and kind of jumps back and says, "Okay, listen up, red hair bitch. I don't want to be anywhere near you. Actually, I don't even want to be anywhere near your group. So fuck off, leave me alone. I'm not here for you entirely. I'm here just to talk and apologize for my children's kind of behavior. But then again, it is Father's Day, so I guess that's their present." It actually made me kind of chuckle. But not the point. "Go away from me or die." This is where Issei said it with such cold and kind of anger in his voice. That's where, well, he was stunned. And of course, where, well, someone kind of reacted with this and rushes towards Issei. Right now having a sword in his hand. Having blonde hair and of course rushing straight towards Issei. Now of course Issei wasn't affected with Kiba's speed and how he was rushing straight towards him. But this is where when Kiba was actually getting closer, Issei was about to block the sword by grabbing it, but instead decided not to because someone literally blocks, what's it called? Literally blocks, Kiba with having just like this knife, like pocket knife, literally blocking him. And of course, it wasn't even a pocket knife. It was one of those like box cutting knives, literally blocking what's it called, Kiba's like long kind of like mostly holy demonic sword. This is where Kiba widened their eyes, but this is where the sword itself, mostly the demonic sword, the holy demonic sword, was literally destroyed in an instant by this box knife. And of course, where Kiba was actually having a huge slash because his black energy literally hits him. He got pushed back, and this is where Issei says, "Don't you think that was a little too far, Matsui?" This is where Matsui chuckles, and this is where he takes off his hood, showing off his kind of like longish blackish hair. But yeah, or kind of greenish a little bit. Yeah, he kind of dyed it, but don't worry about that. But of course, everyone widened their eyes. This is Matsui. Of course, Matsui still has his face structure, but a little bit more chisel and other stuff. And this is where, two girls widened their eyes, seeing, mostly Matsui. And they're mostly in Sona's Barrage. But of course, they're mostly, kind of the two Kendall girls. This is where, they see Matsui, and this is where Matsui says, "You're quite pathetic there, Kiba. You literally got defeated by a box cutting knife. I didn't even need to use none of my two swords. I could have easily destroyed one of my two swords, but I didn't. Because I'm kind of nice like that." This is where Issei chuckles and says complete bullshit, but yeah, whatever. This is where, Matsui looks at Issei, just chuckles and says, "Yeah, you're right. I'm not. I'm just a little bit drunken. But don't worry about that." This is where, Issei said, "Sure, why not?" This is where, someone else were rushing straight towards Issei and Matsui's conversation, and that was the other group of team, mostly that being, Izanobia and even Irina kind of rushing straight towards them. But of course, they literally almost got their heads literally shot out of, mostly their body. This is where, they kind of stopped in an instant. Of course, this is where Sona's Barrage was also stopped because some of them were trying to advance forward. This is where, they are just confused. Where the fuck did those bullets came from? We go into about distance, and I mean miles, like 4 kilometer miles away, being on top of the tallest being that this person could find, and having no scope, having zero scope on his, gun. But of course, this gun seems to have like 5 bullets each time that he can shoot out from the magazine. But of course, having no scope. But there's one problem. This person seems to be at the tallest tip, and there's no way to get up here unless he fucking just teleported. He has black hair. His eyes kind of has these like mostly like hair. What's it called? What's that thing? Mostly cross lines like that, like a video game kind of like gun kind of show like those cross lines, which he kind of has it. But in his eyes, kind of being like a bluish reddish color. Don't worry about that. Mostly the cross lines have these red lines, but yeah. And of course, his eyes are kind of blue. But of course, he kind of has glasses, but kind of lift up because they're kind of dark shades glasses. But of course, he also kind of just had blackish hair, blackish kind of longish hair. He's looking straight. Well, he has his black hair tied up in a ponytail, and of course, just like listening to music also while shooting some bullets. He's gone, but yeah, he's just listening to music. This is where, well, the others kind of wind their eyes because they can't even sense where they almost got shot. This is where Rias was actually about to straight to get towards Issei and say, Issei, why? Why did you leave me? Issei said, that's easy. I didn't want to be your damn slave. Actually, here's something. Issei pulls it out from a, white, kind of this white portal, and grabs a box and throws it straight to Rias, which Rias managed to catch, but this is where pawn pieces appear. Now, of course, they seem to be all kind of cracked and almost destroyed, thanks to the fact that it's been in his lightning dimension for a while, for 2 years, but don't worry about that. But of course, Issei said, now listen up here, bitch. I'm no longer your parage, so you cannot call me your damn servant, slave, or any of that bullshit. Now that you know why, and why I'm here, and other stuff, you can now go away and fuck off. This is where, Ria started crying, and this is where she started trying to get up to Issei and say, Issei. This is where Issei was about to kind of use his sword to slash down, until Sir Zex appeared, saying, stop. Rias, go back with Grace of being your parage. This is where, Issei, this is where, Issei right now wanted to use his fucking conquer talking straight towards Sir Zex, and this is where Issei says, for the love of all fucking, the love of any type of god, fuck off with that last name. My name isn't Hiro. The name is Silver D. Issei. Now that you know my actual name, I suggest this one time, Sir Zex. If your sister ever dares to get close to me or my children or my wives, I wouldn't hesitate in killing her. I don't care if I have to fight against all factions to slaughter them down. Besides, I am quite popular with all the pirates and pirate crews. They probably wouldn't even mind coming here to the, mainlands to fight you. To fight any of you. So, I suggest one time only. A warning. This is a fucking warning in the final. Your sister gets anywhere close to me, or near my children, or my wives, I won't hesitate to kill her. This is where, when Rias heard wives, she just was stunned. This is where, when the others kind of heard it, they're kind of just stunned faces. This is where, Sir Zex nodded. I understand. But can we talk a little bit? No. Because I have to get back to, the kind of, Grand Line. So, yeah, to the Grand Line so I can talk to someone. This is where, he was about to start walking, and Sir Zex says, Issei, wait. But of course, this is where Issei ignored him, and this is where, Sir Zex was actually getting quite frustrated with Issei's attitude, because Issei seems to really not care. This is where, Issei was walking away. This is where, mostly, Matsui did have his hand on the sword, just in case, Sir Zex do anything, and which he does. Sir Zex literally uses destruction magic to stop Issei, but before even Issei or even Matsui reacted fast enough, or even Morohama, which Morohama notices, where he shot out some bullets. But of course, where, a slash appeared, a red slash destroying the destruction magic, which surprised Issei and even Matsui and Morohama, but the bullets was also kind of just knocked out of course. This is where, Issei was also shocked. Well, not Issei himself. Mostly Morohama was shocked to see his bullets literally knocked out of course. This is where, Morohama looks around and sees Yokasa. This is where, he says, Sensei, what are you doing here? This is where, Morohama was mostly Matsui was about to react straight towards the president's slash until he gets blocked by his own sensei. This is where, Issei said, Father, what are you, not father, I mean, was it called Shanks-san, what are you doing here? This is where, a red-haired man by the name called Shanks actually appears. This is where he was walking casually and sees Issei and says, oh, hey there, son-in-law. This is where, Issei chuckles and says, you're not gonna, I thought you were only going to call me that when, you were next to your daughter. This is where he kind of chuckles, mostly Issei. This is where Shanks says, I would, but she probably would have died out of embarrassment and tried to kill me. This is where Issei chuckles and says, I guess you're right. Well, what are you doing here? This is where, well, Shanks said, well, I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of try to make peace with the supernatural beings, or mostly make peace with, well, the humans here. This is where Issei chuckles and says, I guess you're right. Well, I'll be going. Oh, no you don't, brat, because you're basically also a part of the shit. Oh, come on. I'm not marrying that red-haired bitch if you're thinking about peace alliance. No. We won't do something crazy like that. Besides, if I do something like that, I feel like Uta would try to kill me. She would try to murder me for the fact that I tried to marry you off to that red-haired bitch. Which I'm not such a cruel asshole to do something like that. We're here to talk about peace, and not this violence. Besides, it seems that your crew is all ready to kind of fight and kill the kind of factions, which it shouldn't be like that. It should be kind of peaceful. It's in a peaceful era, so yeah. He says, sure, whatever. Then fine, let's talk. This is where, well, mostly, well, what's it called? When everyone heard son-in-law, they're like shocked. And this is where when Issei was talking about mostly to Shanks so casually, they were just shocked because mostly Issei seemed to be very comfortable around what to call Shanks. Because well, you see here, he sees Shanks as a sensei and a father figure, but yeah, a true father figure. But yeah. But other than that, I'm thinking of leaving it off here for part 2 of this what if. But yeah, I will have to go because, well, I am kind of getting tired, but I also got to take a shower, so yeah. Other than that, bye. See ya.